Hey guys, it's your girl Nye Latte, and you're listening to Girl Chat. If you like today's episode and you want to hear more, feel free to follow me right here on Anchor or at Nye Latte on Instagram or at Girl Chat NCC on Instagram. So today we are talking about our sextory. I am here with the queen of TV intros, the one with host, Erinnn, or as I call her, Irina Face. Say hi.
Hi.
We're currently recording in our bathrobes, so that kind of tells you about our vibe right now. So we are going to talk about the different types of dick or sex, because Erinnn was unaware that there were different types. You never heard of any different types before?
No, I only thought it was just one apparatus and it was called a dick.
Well, they all are called dicks, but there's different types of dicks. So there's the dicks that look like, remember, not the Xfinity remote now. Remember the throwback Comcast remotes with the big blue fucking on-demand buttons? So there are dicks that look like that. They're long, they're wide, and they look like cable remotes. Now they have the fucking movie sex, like the shit you see in the softcore cable porn or like the real hardcore porn hubs. They have that kind of sex. So for those of y'all don't know, Erinnn and I had, what do we call it? Our hot COVID summer. We had our COVID hot girl summer where we was exploring all the places. And we actually had our first threesome experience together. Right, E?
Oh God.
We're gonna tell the people. We gotta tell the people. So we're gonna call this person BK, because I'm not going to use my real name and he low-key might be listening. So we're going to talk about our experience with him. Oh my God, where was that? It was like over the summertime, and we used to work together at one of my like 250 jobs. But this man was literally like the most beautiful thing I had seen in like a long time. And we first had slept together like years ago, before BC, before I had children. And he had a girlfriend, and she was totally cool with him sleeping with other people. So me and him were talking, and he was like, oh, I see you have a girlfriend now. We weren't married yet, right? No, we were dating still. So he was like, oh, would she be cool if you and I smashed? And I was like, but you live so far. He literally lived in like fucking Michigan or some shit. And I told him like, oh, well, if you fly us out there, you pay for a ticket, we'll come out there and we'll do it. So he was like, oh, is it going to be cool with her? And we go the fuck out there. Oh my God. We go out there, and Erinnn was so shy. Like, was barely talking. It literally at first, I swear, we were really just watching fucking movies. And I was sitting there like looking at y'all because he wasn't talking and you weren't talking. You was nervous.
I was terrified.
Why?
Because outside of maybe a few incidental incidents prior to being with you, I had only seen maybe 5 dicks in my entire life. And only 2 of them have actually attempted to make their way inside. So I was not well prepared for any kind of poking situation that was going to happen.
It wasn't bad. I mean, I had threesomes before. None sober, so that was interesting. But did we go to liquor store? I think we went to a liquor store or something, right? We did. It was like early as shit in the day, though. It was like noon. So we went to the liquor store. He got us some drinks. And he was nervous, too, because he was just fucking laying there. Like, he was laying there, and we were laying there. And everyone's all awkwardly staring at the TV because we had just watched like 3 fucking movies. And I'm looking at him, I'm looking at Erinnn, and I'm just was looking to myself like, well, I mean, I didn't fly all the way out here to watch movies. Like, so I was just telling myself like, well, let's get this show on the road. Like, I was like, oh, let's do body shots. So I had him do a body shot off of Erinnn, had him do one off of me, we did one off of him. Because in case y'all haven't met Erinnn yet, when Erinn's drunk, Erinn's like a lot of fun. She don't think as much. And you don't think as much when you're drunk. You're fun when you're drunk. Drunk you and high you was like amazing, because you just be like, do me, just do everything, all this stuff to me. You do. You know you do. That's why she's laughing, y'all. So we all did body shots off each other, and then I had them kiss, and then me and him kissed, and then me and her kissed. And I had her take her shirt off, and I took my shirt off, and then we took his shirt off. Oh my God, his fucking abs. Yo, so, never told you this. His abs looked the same as they did back then. Like, his body from the neck down looked fucking like no time passed. Meanwhile, I didn't got fat, had kids, had a whole marriage already. Like, but he looked as gorgeous as he did like 10 years ago. So we're all kissing him and all that. We're kissing down. So I get down to his pants and we pulled out his dick. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot how terrifyingly big that shit was. Guys, it was the cable remote dick. Like, no lie. It was like a little bigger than that. But it was like thick and long. And I was nervous. Like, I went from being super slippery to like, fuck, that shit's about to go in me. And I had already told him previously, like, it's been a while since I've been with a man. Erinnn never been with a man. So when it went in me, I'm telling you, I felt that shit in my intestines. Like, I did. This shit was in my lower back, my fucking large intestine. I mean, it was fun. Like, it was the movie star sex. He was in all these positions. But, like, after a while, my vagina get this thing called rug burn. Too much friction. Too much stuff happening at one point. She be needing a break. Like, Katrina went from being, like, 2 centimeters dilated to, like, 12, like, 3. So, like, for me, it was okay. It had, like, it wasn't bad. It just was tedious. Like, it just felt like a lot was going on. But how was it for you? I mean, that was like the biggest thing you had, right?
Yeah, it was different. I mean, outside of a strap-on, that was the biggest dick that's ever been inside of me that wasn't, attached to a bitch. But it was different. I had never had a threesome with the person I was in a relationship with, so that was different. Normally, I was always the third to a couple. Like, I was always invited into the threesome scene, but I was never actually involved with anyone. And then add that on to I was not mentally prepared for the monster dick that was going to come out of his pants. I was like, okay.
The monster dick.
It really was. It was like that scary porn, like, white girl fantasy porn. Where, like, the big chocolate man pulls out his dick and it's, like, enough to knock down a building. That shit was like a fucking, like, asteroid, and, like, thought my insides were gonna implode. Like, you were talking about feeling that shit in your back. I felt that shit in my neck. That shit hit my spinal cord all the way up to my neck.
Oh my God.
Like, that shit was,
not the fucking spinal cord.
Like, that shit was too much for me. But it was fine. And then, like, he was like actually like a nice guy. He was understanding to the fact that, like, so, like, one hasn't really been with a guy in a minute, and the other one really hadn't, for real, like, outside of, like, small dicks. So, like, he was very patient, and I actually appreciated that, because not a lot of guys would have been that relaxed about having, rev the engine a couple more times, because stuff just was not.
No, I mean, he was cool. Like, he was cool. Like, we did that for like a while. And like, I was done. Like, I was tired. I couldn't take anymore. Erinnn had tapped out like 20 minutes prior. My vagina was like, bitch, we hurting. So, like, after we all finished, like, he got dressed. The bid was, after we got done, he went and picked his girlfriend up from work. So he left us at his house. And me and Erinnn, as were like potheads all through COVID. So he left these like fucking weed gummies in his room. So we're like, we're going to watch a movie like until he comes back. Our flight wasn't until like later on that night. So we're like, oh, we're going to watch a movie. So we eating these fucking gummy rings. And I eat like 2 because I'm like, oh, this shit's dumb. Like, we can't taste anything. Erinnn eats like 6. So we're fucking, I forget what movie we were watching. Like, we were watching it and we're all like, man, that candy was a fucking waste. Like, we didn't do anything. Yo, when I mean the high smacked the shit out of me, girl, I went from watching the movie to like the duh face, stupid.
I still to this day don't remember. I literally feel like I was in GTA on the way to the airport because he was already driving like a fucking lunatic, and then add on the fact that I'm high, just staring out the window like half conscious. Like I had no idea. And then I'm terrified of flying and I'm terrified of airports and I'd never been to this airport before and I'm high as shit going through TSA, acting like I got a fucking bomb in my backpack. Like I'm all waiting for someone to like sense it and say that I can't get on the plane. And all the while, first of all, my back hurt from all the sex. And then like my legs was numb because of the weed and my body was like, I was like a fucking zombie. Like, imagine all the Novocaine in your mouth, but it's just in every other crevice of your body.
That was me. Like, I was in the front seat of the car, and he was going like 100 miles an hour. I just was like, I was in the calmest highway. It's like, we're going to die. You got to slow down. I mean, because I think he was running late, like, getting us to the airport. And he was like, well, you say y'all got to be there at like 6. And I was like, but I don't want to die on the way I'm all high. Sleep. We would sleep. I mean, that was the best fucking flight. Sleep. That sleep was like the best thing ever.
And by the time we got back to Philly, I was all back to normal.
I mean, my vagina hurt for like 3 days after. Like,
oh no, I couldn't. There was
like,
nothing.
Man, I had to take a bath, do some Kegels.
Now,
like,
granted, I don't have children, but I feel like that's what childbirth felt like. Like you can't close your legs. It hurts to sit.
No, but I would say that was, out of all my years having threesomes, that was like the quintessential movie threesome. Like that was the threesome I always wanted to have. And I mean, had he not knocked all of my fallopian tubes loose, I probably would have won another round. But as far as would I do it again, I mean, I'd do it again.
I mean, I would give it another shot. I mean, granted, gonna have to stretch and do some like advanced placement yoga.
Some Pilates. I bet gonna have to I'm gonna have to put like 6 things in me, a fist, to prepare myself for this shit that
I'm gonna have to take all the strap the entire week before.
So that was the cable remote sex. So the other remote sex, which I'm sure you've had to have heard of this, is the whiskey dick or like the weed sex. When someone's like really high and they're really drunk and they can't, it can't happen. It can't stay awake. It can't stay hard. Fucking the Hulk, like that was that was the kind of sex that's what I call the awkward one night stand sex. It's like you want to have sex, but the person can't really perform. So this person, we're gonna call them the Hulk because we'll get to why Erinnn called them that. So we have these events every couple of weeks, every like a Friday. We have games, we have drinks. Back when I was smoking weed on a regular basis, we had weed and we have people over. So a friend of mine that I've known for a really long time decided that he wanted to come over this particular time. So he came over and he hasn't smoked weed, at least from what I've seen, he hasn't smoked weed for like 10 years. Like it's been like a minute. So he's smoking, he's drinking. Oh, he's having a fucking good ass time. And this fucking person is built like a warehouse. Not in the sense that they're fat, they're just sturdy as fuck. So he's drinking, he's smoking.
Like the big guy in Friday. The big guy.
Like Debo.
Yes!
Yes! Debo. So for weeks prior, like I had been making jokes because we slept together before. That's the trend. A lot of my really close friends are people I've slept with before. But we kept making jokes for like weeks prior. Like, oh yeah, like I would still smash that. Like I would still let you. So we did a little sexual flirtation thing for like a month. So when he's over, he's drinking, he's doing shots, we're playing kings, we passing the blunts around. So everybody leaves and he decides that he's going to stay for a little bit. So we're like, okay, cool, like, help us fucking clean up. At this point, I'm smoking another blunt. I'm cooling. So he comes upstairs and we attempt to have a threesome. So I say attempt because it was one of them things where like, I think he was enjoying it way more than we was.
I feel like all of his sensories were in overdrive. Like already naturally,
except for the sensory in his pants.
Most guys have this ideal about a threesome. You add in the fact that not only are you kind of cool with these people, but we're also your quintessential threesome like dream for most men. One chocolate, one vanilla, both pretty thick, big tits. We're already like naturally a walking like threesome billboard. Like just take out an ad in Craigslist. Like we're every man's ideal like thing for a threesome. I just think he wasn't mentally prepared for what was going to happen, and I think he had a lot more plans than he was ready to execute.
First of all, I do not get fingered. Like, that is not a thing I am used to doing. That's not a thing I like doing. But I guess he tried to do it. First of all, his fingers feel like a penis. I feel like I was getting fucked with a sausage. Like, it was rough and dry and clammy. And I was like, oh, God. I was literally making this face the entire time. Like, my vagina. Poor Katrina. Like, sis was hurting, but nothing was funnier than Erinnn. Like, Erinnn was doing these moans. Like, it was, like, the best thing ever. And the more she moaned, the faster he got. I swear I could see the smoke leave your box from the rug burn. That was happening. She goes, I'm telling you, we literally called him the Hulk because it was like getting fucked by the fucking Avenger.
It was like Hulk smash. It's almost like when the Hulk picks up Loki and throws him and flip-flops him on the ground. That's literally what this man did to my box. Like, he just picked me the fuck up, held me up using his hand, and just cupped my vagina and then just threw me back and forth across the bed and thought the whole time that was sexually enjoyable for anybody.
And then there was the amazing part where, you know, in the middle of him trying to pound, his soldier just kind of died. And I mean, I give the best CPR of life. And it just, nothing was reviving it. Like, it would be hard for, like, literally, you can count to 30. It would be hard, and then it would just drop. And then we tried again. And then, like, literally, I have a very juicy mouth. Okay, even my dentist said I have a lot of saliva. Literally, my mouth got dry. Like, I wasted all the good spit, and it just was not happening. Like, literally, like, he apologized. So he was like, I'm so sorry, guys. And I just was like, no, it's cool. Like, I'm tired. But, oh, my God, when he left, I had to take a warm rag, put on my crotch, because his hand was just the roughest thing ever. Like, I think my insides were, like, bleeding.
It was literally like the Thing from Fantastic Four.
She was calling it blocks.
Like, just think about the world's most, like, largest human being. Like, King Kong picking that bitch up when they're on the Empire State Building. That was what he did.
Oh, my God, I can't.
He was just big and just was like...
It just was not happening. So that's the awkward one-night stand sex because, I mean, literally... I haven't even thought. The thought has not even crossed my mind. It hasn't even glimmered in my dreams since then.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So then I would say the third type of sex that I've had is always, I call it the impressive no expectation sex. And I know you're thinking like, all sex is no expectations. But no, my thing is usually one that involves a couple where like the straight girl forgets you're a girl. Like for some reason, straight girls are always super impressed when they get good head from other girls. But my thing is like, hello, bitch, I got the same parts. You think I don't know what's going on down there?
Now, I'm usually very impressed if a guy gives good head. Because I've mostly... If you're going to do a tally of the men that I've been with versus the women, I've been with a lot more women. So for me to meet anyone of the male gender who actually knows what they're doing down there with that apparatus versus the other one... I'm usually very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and I never, even though I've been with like a lot of guys, I never liked head from guys. Like to me, sorry, I know like a lot of my listeners are males, but to me, y'all give trash head. Like I'm sorry, I've only met 3 men in my entire life who I've been with that really give like A+ head, because usually y'all get y'all lessons from porn and y'all be on the spot, but then y'all move like 150 fucking times. So it's like if I was into it, you move. But I think it was our first Saturday alone at Pleasure Garden. We met this couple, and since we can't remember their names, we're going to call them Latin America because they had to be from some fucking Venezuelan. They weren't like, I know Puerto Rican and Mexican. Like, I know like the regular, like Dominican. I know the regular Latin American cultures, they had to be like Venezuelan, Colombian, one of the fancy ones, because their accents, like, they were gorgeous, but their accents were so thick. And it doesn't count that we were drunk and we were drinking like a lot. I don't even remember how I met them. Like, when I met them, they were already talking to you.
So essentially, we were walking around the place, and Nye was in front of me, and walking forward, I was following behind her. And while I was walking, I just felt someone like pull me backwards. And it was this girl who didn't speak a whole lot of English. And granted, I'm being like grabbed, so I'm like, nah! Like, I'm like yelling, because I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And she was just like, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you're so pretty. And I'm trying to explain, like, okay, like, well, this is my like fiance, like this, like, I'm with her. And she's like, oh, so pretty. Oh, you guys like to have fun. And I'm thinking, this is literally the beginning of every porno that I've ever watched in my entire life. Literally, just every camera girl that I've ever watched that don't speak English. Oh, you like have fun? Like, what? I was like, yeah, I think so. So the four of us,
at me.
and I just kept looking at her, because I was like, I need some kind of assistance. Like, so we end up going into one of like the private rooms, and we have a very interesting attempt at a threesome just between the three of us, like the girls.
But wait, you missed it. So I'm gonna tell you what she was saying. So she was saying like, oh, you guys look like you were fun. I was like, yeah, we're all about fun. And she was like, oh, you like fun, I like fun. I was like, yeah, we like fun. So she was like, oh, we should all have fun like together. I remember the guy's name was Thomas, because I kept fucking laughing, because she was like, oh, me fun, you fun. She's like, oh, Thomas, can Thomas have fun? And I was like, oh, Thomas can have all the fun. Mind you, this place is BYOB. So me and Erinnn had probably been drinking and doing blunts like in between, because you can smoke vapes inside, but you can't smoke weed inside, which that's a whole nother thing I don't get. But me and Erinnn had been drinking, and then occasionally we would go outside and smoke. We would go outside and smoke blunts. And this night, I don't even remember what the theme was. I know I'm always like half naked now when I go. So I'm pretty sure I had on something with like my boobs out and my butt cheeks out. I was like probably half naked. And she was like really pretty though. Like the guy was like my type, tall, brown skin, bald. And the girl was like really pretty. I just remember like curly hair, thick ass Spanish accent, because fun seemed to be the only clear English word she could say. So we go into one of the private rooms, and she was asking, like, the three of us, just us girls, wouldn't have one. So the guy was actually respectful. He was going to leave. And I was like, oh, no, you don't have to leave. And she was asking, like, oh, is it okay if he stay? Can he stay? And I was like, yeah, Thomas can stay. Like, Thomas is dope. He can stay. Mind you, I'm drunk. I don't even know. But Thomas didn't seem rapey. So, you know, he could stay. So us three attempt to have one. And I think like her and Erinnn kissed, and I just went straight for the box, because the last time we met a nice pretty girl, only Erinnn got to taste what she tastes like, and I didn't get to because I was on my period. So I was like, this time I'm diving in first. And the girl was just like, like she was pleasantly, she literally said like, oh, you good, you good. And I was just looking like, yeah, bitch, I'm a girl. Like I got the same purse. Like, so then like, you know, she was trying to, like, I guess asking Erinnn if her husband could, like, sleep with her. But Erinnn was saying, like, you know, I don't have sex with, like, strange men. And I was just like, no, like, nothing's poking me over here.
No, my exact words, I would distinctly remember this. I said, not in me, ask her. And I'm pointing to Nye, because at this time, after, you know, the 2 threesome instances with men, I really wasn't interested in having more sexual encounters with men at the time. And I was kind of like against it, but I was like, no in. I said, if you want to put your mouth on it, go ahead, but you're not poking me. I was not interested.
And he did. He put his mouth on it. And let's just say, I heard Erinnn moan before, obviously, almost 3 years. But the sounds I heard were. Erinnn wasn't faking those. I've heard Erinnn fake it with people. And how was he?
Interestingly enough, it was very good. It was almost as good as yours. It was about 3 levels below you. It was almost like he was in your remedial oral class. Like that's what he was. He wasn't at your level. He was like a couple grades behind. He got held back.
He wasn't AP eating.
No, he got held back.
But she said it. No, the bid was, you literally was like, oh my God. Like, so Erinnn sits up, right? So, like, the girl's finished, and she, the guy can't poke me or Erinnn, so he pokes her. So Erinnn sits up and Erinn's like, you gotta try that. Like, he's not bad. Like, this man is a fucking product we're testing. So I lied. I'm like, okay. I said, well, I want to see for myself. Oh my God, guys. Listen. Let's just say I've been with a lot of guys. And this man, listen, if I found him on the street tomorrow, I would be like, so what's up with the what's up? Like, he still can't poke me, but his tongue was all warm. It was like a cat tongue, but like in a good way. And no, I don't get head from cats, but like my cat licked my finger. His tongue was all like nice and velvety, and that's how that man's tongue felt. Velvety. So that Erinn's over here making her whole list, y'all. But I'm sure she'll talk about that at a later date. I'm gonna tune in for that because let's just say the number she told me was not the number I keep writing down. But so that was the impressive no expectation sex because we were both pleasantly surprised, even though it wasn't poked, Shout out to the Pleasure Garden, favorite spot. So that was a little bit of our sex history as far as together. But apparently, as I learned today, Erinnn was having some, what do you call it? BN, but before nigh sex?
No, see, I don't consider, granted, before nigh sex with women is different because I was like a flaming gay for like eons. The BN sex that I'm currently discussing in one of the next episodes of my own personal podcast is all of the sex that I had with men. Not just like regular like intercourse sex, but any form of sexual acts that I had either performed on me or performed on a guy prior to the experiences that we just shared with you guys.
So I want to hear about one of these before end sex cases.
So I guess the one that the one that kind of sticks out to me is if you have ever in any way, shape, or form had a childhood crush on somebody, like someone that you used to write about in your notebooks and say Mrs. So-and-so, like when you were in like grade school. Now let's just like hypothetically say that while you were doing this, you were also a dork. And the person that you liked was like the captain of the football team type of Lifetime ass movie shit. That was my entire childhood. And this boy that I had a crush on from the time I was like in 3rd, 4th grade was this stereotypical blonde-haired, blue-eyed hockey player. I think he played some kind of white boy sport, maybe lacrosse.
The rabies.
I don't know. Either way, he had no time for me because I was fat and dork.
And lame.
And it wasn't until I was... God. I was actually, believe it or not, I genuinely thought this was actually a lot later than it was. I was actually a senior in high school. And we had been talking online for a little while. I went away to school, whatever. Nothing really happened. I didn't pay him no attention. Then I come back from school. I had just, broken up with my girlfriend. And he asks if I want to smoke and just hang out. So I'm like, okay, like, mind you, my little inner fat girl was like, yes, bitch, he wants you now. You're skinny. Yes, bitch, he wants you. And my grandmother, all she said before I left the house was, don't have sex without a condom. Don't even suck his dick without a condom. And I distinctly remember that.
Shout out to Nana.
So he pulls up, we pull into a little spot, and we smoke, and we're talking, and he asks me to blow him.
What the fuck? Wait, that was just... He just came right out and said,
he basically said, can you blow me? Now, mind you, at this point in time, I hadn't seen a lot of dicks.
Apparatus.
At least, at least not in person, like in my face. So I'm like just sitting there like, I don't know. I just got done like eating vagina for like 3 years. Like, I wasn't like most gay people where the gayness was an experiment. I just so happened to enjoy it. No, I was gay and the dick was the experiment to make sure I was gay. So, I go for it. I'm like, you know what? You can't say you don't like something until you try it. You can't sit there and say you don't like broccoli till you eat the shit. So you might as well. You can't say you don't like dick unless you put one in your mouth. So I did. And he seemed to enjoy himself. I mean, he finished in my mouth, which I never want to experience again.
What did it taste
like?
Like
hand sanitizer. It's like eating, no, not even hand sanitizer. It's almost like, you ever wash your hands and then bite your fingernails and you still taste the soap?
Yeah, it tastes like soap.
It tastes like hand soap, but like school hand soap that would be in the school bathrooms, that pink stuff. Literally. I mean, granted, he enjoyed himself. And I mean, he tried to talk to me for a little while after that. But I kind of learned in that moment that it really wasn't for me. Because he enjoyed himself, but I ain't get nothing out of that. That didn't do nothing for me. I mean, at least when it comes to giving women head, like, that arouses me. But giving men head, that doesn't do nothing but annoy me. Because you just keep grabbing my fucking ponytail. Like, bitch, can you stop? Like, that don't do nothing for me.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, what about you? I mean, like, I'm pretty sure you've had a dick in your mouth or two. Like,
I had a few.
Do you enjoy that?
I had a few dicks in my mouth. I don't. It's not a sport that I want to ever compete in the Olympics for. I'd say I'm not bad at it. I mean, if you had to give medals out, let's just say I get the gold, but it's not something like, I have to be in the mood. Like, for those of you that aren't unfamiliar, before I was married to Erinnn, I was married to a man for 5 years. And we literally would have, like, whole arguments because, like, he would want me to do it. And I'd be like, God, I don't feel like it. Like, you gotta be in the mood to do shit like that. Just so happened I was never in the mood. I guess back then I should have known I wanted veg. But, no, I would say my BE, before Erinn's sex moments, Erinn's kind of heard this before, but I call it the pimpin' fail. So,
because you was big pimpin'.
I was big pimpin'. I was on my thought shit. I was having hot girl summers before Megan Thee Stallion even was popular. So, I used to talk to this guy. I have a long history of online dating. Like, I can do like 3 episodes of that, online dating. But I used to talk to this guy. So a couple years ago, before I was 21, so I think I was like 19 or 20. No, I was 19. No, matter of fact, I was 20 because right before I went to go work at Disney. I met this guy like in December, I would say. And that's the second time I ever messed with a light-skinned man. So he was like light-skinned and gorgeous, and he was like 6'3". And I remember, and I'll use his name because he doesn't listen to it and he doesn't like talk to me. But his name's Darren. So I met Darren online. Shout out to Black Planet. I met him online a couple years ago, like 10 years ago, I guess. I was 20. And it was just one of the times where we talked for like 3 weeks. And back before you was getting like murdered and raped by like everybody now, we agreed to like meet. So for safety reasons, we met like in public. You know, I didn't know catfishing was a thing. So he made sure I looked like me. I made sure he looked like him. And I was just bold, living on the edge. Like, went to that man's house the first day. Like, got in the car and let him take me out West Philly. It's like 55th and Girard. And I was not like a West Philly person. So I let him take me out there. We go to his house. And, you know, fast forward, we had got along so well. To me, we were just having fun. We were hanging out. We were having sex occasionally. But in his mind, he told himself we were in a whole fucking relationship. He told himself I was his girlfriend. So, in the strange attempt to prove how untrue that was, one day, after telling him that I wasn't going to come over that day, I decided that someone I had grew up with invited me over to him and his girlfriend's house to like have drinks, watch movies or whatever. So after being there, I'll cover that awkward moment on a later episode. But after being there, we had some activity. He, you know, slid in me. He put a condom on. We attempted to have sex, but it was too weird for me because I literally knew this guy from when I was like 7 and now I'm like 20. So it was like, ew. It was like sleeping with like a play cousin. So it was weird. So he slid out and was like, yeah, you know, whatever. We agreed. We just was going to be cool because the shit was too weird for me. So he dropped me off back at my house. Darren texts me and say, oh, I can't sleep without you. I'm going to come over. Mind you, I literally said, give me an hour. I'm about to take a shower. He like, no, I'm already on the way to your house. Like, he literally was like 4 blocks from my house. So I'm like, fuck, all right. I'm like, whatever. It's like 12 a.m. So I'm like, at this point, we just going out there. We're going to get some food. I'm hungry. We're going to go to bed. So we get to his house, and I'm like, take off my shirt, take my under off. Because, again, I'm trying to take a shower because I had literally had activity like 40 minutes prior. So I'm like, am I taking a shower? So he like, no, I can't get some first. Like, I ain't seen you in like 2 days. I'm like, no, like, I'm really tired. Like, I just want to take a shower, go to bed. Like, I had a long day. So I'm telling him, like, yeah, I did errands all day for my mom. Went to the laundromat. Like, I'm telling him I did, like, normal, regular person shit. So to set this scene for y'all, I'm literally laying on my stomach looking in his headboard, and his headboard was like a mirror. So I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like swiping on my phone because I'm low-key deleting messages because he used to draw about like people texting me. So I'm low-key deleting messages. I'm laying on my stomach, and he attempts to seduce me. So he's like kissing on my lower back, and he like, come on, like, I can't do this simple. I'm like, no, like, I'm tired, like, I'm about to just take a shower so I can go to bed. So at this point, I took off all my clothes because I'm about to get in the shower. I'm laying in a towel. So he attempts to slide in me. I felt the penis in me, and then he just stopped. So now I'm mad because I'm like, damn, why you stop? So I just stopped. I'm like, I'm all giggling and shit, like, oh, what happened? So he stops, and he's like, what you do today? I'm like, I told you, what's up, aren't you mad? Went to breakfast with my mom. Like, I told you earlier, like, why you keep asking me? I'm all casual and dumb. So he like, you ain't fucking nobody today? And I'm like, what the fuck kind of question is that? Like, no. I'm like, why you asking me? So literally, guys, I'm looking at the headboard, and something wet just hits me in the side of my fucking head. And he's like, what the fuck is this then? So remember when I told y'all that my play cousin used the condom, but he slid out? So it turns out that I was so tight, he slid out, but the condom stayed in. And what Darren hit me with was the fucking condom that someone else had on while trying to have sex with me. First of all, it's wet. I done rolled from North Philly to West Philly with this condom in my crotch. And that shit hit me in the back of my head. So he's like, what the fuck is this? Y'all, when I just froze. I ain't even look in the mirror. Like, I just sat there, jaw dropped, fucking staring. Like, every thought in my head was disappearing. I usually have all the Olivia Pope moments. Like, I can spin any fucking thing. My entire mind went blank. Like, it went like
busted.
It did. Like, in my head, we were all like, look for something to say something. My mouth was just like, I had like the finger, that caught finger on the face shit. I'm just like, he like, well, and in my head, like, I'm thinking, the only thing I could say out of my fucking mouth that I'm surprised that man ain't beat me the fuck up for. I was like, well, like, I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not gonna lie, I was a man. I'd have beat my ass in there. Like, fuck you, me. You don't know what to say. Like, he was like, so you ain't fucked nobody. But I was like, okay, so maybe something happened. But I don't know. I was like, I don't understand what you're so mad about. He like, you got another nigga fucking condom in you. I was like, oh man. Like, in my head, I was like, now I see how men feel when they get caught doing something. Like, if I could just spin this so that it's not really me, like, if I can get mad and just spin this whole shit around.
I honestly would have said I was trying to get a shower, like, but you just kept stopping me.
I was like, I told you I didn't want to.
You know what's crazy? I only did that once where, like, I fooled around with someone at like one point, and then later on that day did something with somebody else.
I wasn't trying to do nothing though. But then, but this is the crazy thing. So I know most of the guys are like, yo, I'd have beat her the fuck up. So I'm expecting him to like spaz, because he known you're an average new normal hood nigga. I'm expecting him to spaz. Like, I'm expecting like some off the wall shit, some like B-rated hood movie shit. But he got like a whole girl, like he was in the bed, like, I can't believe you did this to me. I'm like, did what? We're not really in a relationship. He like, you cheated on me. I said, you can't cheat on somebody if you're not in a relationship. I said, in my defense, I was trying to take a shower. Like, you interrupted my evening. I was accommodating you. Like, he like, another nigga condom is not evaluating me. I'm like, but we really did have sex. Like, I said, I promise you, it looks worse than it sounds.
But see, I will say one thing. One of the plus sides to being a woman, like to fucking a woman who fucks women, is you can do shit like that and not get caught because you ain't got to worry about no condom being stuck in nobody's
There was
mouth.
nothing to get caught. That was not. I will maintain that statement to this day. I never gave him any inclination we were in a relationship. I never claimed him as my dude. Like, but he acted like a whole girl. Like, he did everything but cry, laying up in that bed. And I was like a man. I was getting dressed. I was like, well, I'm about to go. Because, like, I'm not about to argue over this. He, like, ain't shit you could fucking say. My man's was tight, y'all. He was real tight. And, I mean, I'm probably sure, like, I don't think I've ever done shit like that ever since. Like, now, I keep my thoughts together, keep my thighs together mostly. Or I at least make sure I do a full fucking pelvic exam. Before I let anyone else touch me, if I know it's a day I didn't have some activity. I promise y'all I was not on no dirt shit. It just fucking happened. And it's never happened to me since. So 10 years, it's never happened to me since. But that is one of the that's my most memorable like BE sex moment. But in closing, this has been too fun. I know a lot of people ask for us to do a collab together because I like to think me and Erinnn are fucking hilarious.
That and we both do podcasts on the same platform, the same day of the week.
Well, I do mine like once every few weeks, but it's been a rough season, guys. I will give you guys more episodes, I promise. It's just, I've had a personal death in the family, so I've been dealing with that. But me and Erinnn were talking about this stuff today, and we was like, we have to share it with the fans. The fans have to hear this. But so, for those of you who are new, Erinnn actually just started her podcast, right? Like a month ago, maybe? Mm-hmm. A month ago. And tell everyone a little bit about what it's about.
So my podcast is called The One With, which if anyone watches 90s sitcoms is a play on the Friends series, which is basically every episode of Friends is called The One With something. And it's basically my own personal diary of shit that has happened to me from the time I was 18 all the way up until today. It's my telling of relationships, girlfriends, hookups, friendships, shit that a lot of people said if they didn't know me, they would think I was making it up. And I upload episodes Fridays at 9. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm kind of, I don't have as an extravagant a platform and episode guide as this one over here, but it's kind of simple.
Well, you guys can catch Erinnn every Friday right here on Anchor or on Spotify or wherever you listen to all the great podcasts. The One With, it's Fridays. She's a lot more consistent than me, I promise you. But until next time, guys, this has been Girl Chat. This has been your girl, Night Latte, the Poly Princess. And joining me was Erinnn. So if you guys like this episode and you want to hear more, follow me right here on Anchor. Join me on Spotify and hit me up on the gram at Night Latte or at Girl Chat NTC. Later.